Public safety is a concern for a lot of residents in our communities where there are no opportunities to work. A common source of income for some community members is illegal marijuana and homebrew sales, which is a concern by many people in our communities. Because of past experiences of situations involved with guns, alcohol, and substance abuse, deaths related to homicide or suicide, it's hard to call home a safe haven. Residents who live in a community that have no VPOs only have the option of calling troopers who live a plane ride away to report a crime and hope for a fast response. Thankfully, locals are stepping up to protect our community members with no training whatsoever, and cases are being reported but justice is not being served. Most communities do not get help until a tragedy happens. What resources are there to address these types of issues?
So Magdalene, this is a great question and another passionate issue that I care deeply about. You know, when I was your Attorney General, I worked with our governor to launch what was called the Choose Respect strategy. As a matter of fact, in Tuxtla Bay, when I was there a couple of years ago, I saw a big Choose Respect sign. I was proud to see that. I've taken that passion to the U.S. Senate, where I've been leading on issues that relate to domestic violence and sexual assault. For example, I had a bill called the POWER Act that was signed into law that would give more resources to survivors of domestic violence, particularly legal resources, with a focus on Native women. You may have seen that our great leader, the Assistant Secretary of Interior for Indian Affairs, Tara Sweeney, Nupiat leader, who is a former AFN co-chair, she just opened the cold case office in Anchorage for missing and murdered Indigenous people. That's also something that matters so much. So I am very focused on the issue of public safety, domestic violence, sexual assault, more resources. And here is a good news story. Because of the work that many of you did and the ideas that I got from many of your communities, I brought our Attorney General of the United States, William Barr, to Alaska last summer. And I said, look at these amazing people. But guess what? So many communities don't have law enforcement. My vision from the time I was Attorney General was every community in Alaska that wants a law enforcement official should get it. Every community. Just like they have in the lower 48. So I'm going to continue to work on that, focus on it, and bring people who can help us to Alaska. The good news is, you may have heard, after Attorney General's Barr visit, he said, I'm going to help rural Alaska. He has directed over $60 million in federal resources to help us with law enforcement. That has created over 38 new law enforcement positions, including 15 in the CVRF region. 15, just in the last year. That is progress, historic progress. We're going to keep pushing on it. As long as I'm your senator, I'm going to be a passionate advocate for the issue of public safety and combating the horrible problem we have in our state, and let's face it, in our country, with domestic violence and sexual assault. I think many of you know my wife is Athabascan. I have 3 daughters. This is an issue of the utmost importance to me.